Chapter 66-66. Afterward, Orville sent the two of them out of Classic Mansion and watched them drive away. He didn't move for a long time, thinking of the content of the telephone conversation with Isaac. He was moved and wiped his tears for a long time. On the way back, Claire was always curious about one thing. That is, how magical Charlie's feng shui is. And why does even a young American star like to want to believe in him? However, she didn't think about it carefully, because she felt that she knew nothing about feng shui. Since her husband could be recognized by so many people, he must have his own strengths, so she, an outsider, shouldn't speculate too much. The next morning, after Claire went to work, Charlie came to Classic Mansion. Classic Mansion is not open to the public in the morning. But at this time, there are many netizens who come to the gate of Classic Mansion to check in and take pictures. Charlie didn't rush in, but opened his mobile phone to check and found that Classic Mansion was still the #1 hot search on domestic online media. This is mainly due to the fact that Tawana specially sent a tweet for this place, praising everything here, so that countless fans hope to come here to taste the Oris Hill food that Tawana liked. Even if they can't afford it, they hope to check in and post on Weibo or Moments. There were so many people queuing up to check in and take photos at the door of the store. So Charlie went around to the back door. And Orville had been waiting here since early in the morning. When Charlie arrived, Orville respectfully invited him to his office. Charlie sat down on the sofa and asked him with a smile. "How is it, Orville? Have you thought about how to make your Classic Mansion bigger and stronger?" Orville smiled ashamedly. "To be honest with you, Master Wade, I thought about it all night last night. But I didn't figure it out." Then he laughed at himself and said, "Maybe my ability is too limited. In addition, I came from a grassroots background. I have never been to school, and I have not systematically learned anything about business and management. How can I open such a restaurant with ease? If you let me take a few more looks, I really don't know where to start." Charlie smiled and said, "Let me tell you my idea first, and you can listen to it." Orville hurriedly said, "Master Wade, please speak. I am all ears." Charlie said, "In fact, I don't have any brilliant ideas, but just a few points. First of all, don't start to choose a location to open a branch right away, but find a design company to design a set of unified packaging elements for you, such as logos, advertising slogans, positioning, entry points, etc. And then find a decoration design company to help you unify the style of the store and design a universal version of the plan. And your dishes are too complicated and too expensive. Ordinary people can't afford it, so I suggest you simplify it. Otherwise, the six-figure price for a private room is still too high for most consumers." Charlie said, "By the way, the most important thing is to have a team and find some experienced catering talents to push these things for you." Orville nodded and said, "Let me first count the funds I have on hand to see how much money I can come up with to do this." Charlie waved his hand. "This is the very important thing I want to talk to you about today. Don't worry about the funding. Didn't we get a lot of expansion funds for your dog farm before? To be honest, no matter how much it is expanded, it won't cost that much money. You can take out $50 million from it as your first stage of development funds. After taking out this money, immediately start to form a team and study the plan." Orville was stunned and blurted out, "How can this be done, Master Wade? The money is yours, and the dog farm is also for your service. The money is specially put in the dog farm's account. How can I use it for other purposes?" Charlie laughed and scolded, "DMN it, I asked you to move it, so you move it. Why are you talking so much nonsense?" Chapter 66-67. Orville did not expect Charlie's attitude towards this matter to be so tough. He naturally knew that Charlie was kind to him. But for a grown man like him, he felt a little unworthy. So, he said to Charlie, "Master Wade, since I have known you until now, not to mention that you saved my life, you have helped me too much. Classic Mansion has suddenly become so well known, thanks to you. With such a foundation, it is much better to do anything than before. I am already grateful. How can I use that money for my own use?" Charlie said unhappily, "You don't have to be so polite to me. What I can give you directly, in my opinion, is what you deserve. If it is not what you deserve, I may not give it to you even if you ask me for it." Orville said embarrassedly, "Master Wade, I understand what you mean. Just like a particularly good boss who always wants to give employees a raise. But I have done so little work. So this much now is already too much. Any more is really unworthy." As he said this, Orville remembered what Chen said to him, and said with emotion, "Moreover, Mr. Chen told me that you have helped me clean up my not-so-glorious past. This is a huge help to me. I haven't had time to thank you yet." Charlie smiled and said, "Have you ever heard that after some companies went public, even their cleaning ladies became millionaires?" Orville shook his head again and again. "Is there such an outrageous thing? I have never heard of it." Charlie said seriously, "This kind of thing is not outrageous at all. The cleaning lady is also an employee of the company. If he was in the process of this company's establishment, if he works tirelessly for the company and never leaves it, then he is also a veteran of this company, and an engineering company of this company. Before the company goes public, he will be allocated a certain proportion of options. That's why after the company goes public, the net worth of the cleaning lady exceeds 1 million, or even more." At this point, Charlie said again, "Of course, I don't mean to compare you with the cleaning lady. During this period of time, you are the one who has served me the most. Now there happens to be a great opportunity to help you achieve your career. Naturally, why not for me?" Orville was deeply moved, and tears unconsciously slid down his cheeks. He sighed, "I am lucky to meet Master Wade." Charlie smiled and said, "This there is no need to say some polite words. I still hold the same view as before. Seizing the opportunity, striking while the iron is hot, and striving to maximize the benefits are the most important things for you now." Orville thought for a while and said, "Master Wade, how about that money be considered as your investment in Classic Mansion? I will give you 51% of the shares of Classic Mansion." Charlie waved his hand. "This $50 million is not invested by me in you, but given to you as a starting capital. I have calculated for you that with $50 million as a starting capital, you can not only form a complete team and build a complete brand, but also open several branches in first-tier cities. Once your development is on the right track and you are doing well, you can choose to raise funds yourself, or you can choose to let the Wade family invest in you. At that time, I will use the money to exchange for your shares, and at the same time help you develop faster. If you list your Classic Mansion like Heidelau Hotpot in the future, the Wade family, as an early shareholder, will also have a lot of profit space. Isn't this capital operation? As long as you are willing to do it, as long as you are willing to start, then everything is possible. If you procrastinate from the beginning, then this thing will definitely not succeed." Chapter 66-68. Orville said awkwardly, "Master Wade, I understand what you said. But I am also worried that I am not up to the level. In the end, I will mess up, not to mention wasting your money, but also embarrassing you." Charlie smiled and said, "If Tawana hadn't come to your Classic Mansion, the possibility of you messing up would be quite high. But now you have such a good foundation. As long as you work hard, you will definitely not mess up." Then Charlie said, "Once the listing is successful, It may be a company with a market value of tens of billions of dollars. $50 million is nothing. If you can make this thing happen, you will benefit and I will benefit too. So from now on, don't talk nonsense to me, hurry up and get started. Orville pondered for a moment, nodded heavily, and said, Master Wade, since you think highly of me, then I will do my best to do this thing well. That's about right. Charlie smiled with satisfaction. Tavanna will often come to China to perform in the future. As a half Oris Hill person, I will definitely make Oris Hill her first stop every time she comes to China to hold a concert. And I will also invite her to come to your classic mansion to support you as soon as she arrives in Oris Hill in the future. If your classic mansion happens to have branches in other cities where she performs, I will also let her go to your branches as soon as possible. So you don't have to worry about the traffic in the future. Just do your best. Okay. Orville said immediately, Orville has learned from you. Master Wade, don't worry, I will not let you down. Charlie smiled slightly, and just as he was about to speak, his cell phone suddenly rang. He looked down and saw that the caller was Steve Rothschild. After answering the phone, he smiled and asked, Steve, why are you calling me so early in the morning? Steve smiled and said, Mr. Wade, I have already arrived in Oris Hill. This time I am here, and I will not leave in a short time. Come again. Charlie couldn't help but smile. You have been coming here quite frequently recently. When did you arrive? Why didn't you tell me in advance? Just arrived. Steve said hurriedly, I just got off the plane. And I have to tell you one thing. This time, there is a little brother coming with me. Charlie asked curiously, where did you get this little brother from? Is he another collateral member of your Rothschild family? No, no. Steve smiled. The one who came with me this time is Matt Finkelstein, who secretly gave Tawana a few days ago. I have already told him that he will stay with me in the future. Wherever I go, he will go. Charlie smiled, after he joins you. Many people in the United States will lose sleep, right? Ha ha. Steve laughed. I asked him a lot of questions these 2 days. Those guys really played dirty. They should all be locked up in your dog farm, Mr. Wade. Now I have all the secrets. Those bastards will be even more timid when they see me in the future. Charlie said, I happen to be in Classic Mansion now. If you have nothing to do, bring him over first. Okay. Steve said excitedly. I actually called to ask when you are free. I want to treat you to a meal. Charlie said, come to Classic Mansion, we can talk while eating. Chapter 66-69. Half an hour later, Steve Rothschild arrived at Classic Mansion under the escort of a group of bodyguards. He had come and gone every time before. But this time, he was ready to fight a protracted war in Oris Hill. His trusted subordinates had arrived at Oris Hill, one after another a few days ago. Of course, Matt Finkelstein came with him. Matt was in a much better mood at this time than before. Before, he was like a dog who had lost his home, running around, hiding from place to place. He even wished he would never return to the United States. But now he is different. He has joined the second-in-command of the Rothschild family. More importantly, after everyone knew that he had joined the Rothschild family, they naturally realized that those secrets had been heard by the Rothschild family. In this case, there is no practical meaning in continuing to hunt down Matt Finkelstein. Killing him would not make those secrets disappear. But it is possible that he would be retaliated wildly because of provoking the Rothschild family. Therefore, Matt Finkelstein now has a golden ticket to avoid death. Because of this, he is very loyal to Steve, and has made up his mind to follow Steve, and be his dog from now on. On the way here, Steve told him that he was going to meet a Chinese man whom he respected very much. Matt was very curious and couldn't figure out who could be so highly praised by the heir of the Rothschild family. After the convoy arrived at Classic Mansion, he followed Steve and entered the gate of Classic Mansion. Orville had been waiting here in advance. When he saw Steve, he immediately smiled and said, "Hello, Mr. Rothschild, we meet again." Steve also smiled and said in fluent Chinese, "Oh, Mr. Hong, we finally meet again. I missed you very much these days." As he said that, he hugged Orville gently and said, "I brought you the best Cuban cigars. I will let my men give them to you to try later." Orville was excited and thought to himself, "What kind of life am I living? The heirs of the Rothschild family have to bring me gifts to curry favor with me." Chapter 66-70. Thinking of this, he smiled and said, "Mr. Rothschild, you are so polite. You just came, why do you bring me a gift?" Steve smiled and said, "Don't call me Mr. Rothschild. It's too distant. Call me Steve. We are all friends. Why be so polite?" After that, he asked him, "Where is Mr. Wade?" Orville smiled and said, "He is waiting for you in the box. Let's go up together." "Okay." Steve nodded, pointed to Matt beside him, and said to Orville, "By the way, Mr. Hong, this is Matt Finkelstein. A brother of mine. He will live with me in Oris Hill in the future." Orville nodded and smiled. "Hello, Mr. Finkelstein." Matt Finkelstein quickly said respectfully, "Mr. Hong, nice to meet you." "Nice to meet you." Orville patted Steve's shoulder and said, "Steve and I are brothers. So you don't have to be polite when you come." If someone patted Steve and said he was his brother, he would definitely get angry. "How dare you call me brother?" But when Orville called him brother, he was very happy. He even felt that he and Orville were brothers from the same school. Friendly, very friendly. Orville brought the two to the diamond box, where Charlie was already sitting. As soon as Steve entered the door, he said very respectfully, "Hello, Mr. Wade." Charlie smiled and said, "How is it, Steve? Are you going to stay for a long time this time?" Steve smiled and said, "Yes, Mr. Wade, to be honest. I plan to stay in Oris Hill for 10 or 8 years this time." After that, he quickly introduced Matt to Charlie and said, "Mr. Wade, this is the Matt Finkelstein I mentioned before." Matt Finkelstein was also looking at Charlie in amazement at this time. He really couldn't understand why a man like Steve was so respectful to him. But he was so young. He also couldn't understand whether there was any other young man in the world who had a higher status than Steve. It seemed impossible. But the fact is that Steve's respect for Charlie is not only written on his face, but also engraved in his bones. Charlie looked at Matt, who was shocked, and asked him with a smile, "A few days ago, the secret flower that wanted to kill Tawana was you, right?" Matt's heart suddenly skipped a beat, thinking to himself, Could it be that he is the man behind Tawana? It was he who asked Steve to find him and remove the bid. Thinking of this, he was terrified and said quickly, "Mr. Wade is really sorry, I was too stupid at the time. So I made that decision. I have realized how wrong I was, and I tried my best to stop this matter. I hope you will be magnanimous and don't hold the same opinion with me." Charlie nodded and said, "Whether it's your personal grudge with Tawana in the past, or whether you hold each other secrets, I don't want to interfere too much. As long as you don't make any threatening actions to her from now on, I won't pursue it." Matt immediately breathed a sigh of relief and quickly stated, "Mr. Wade, don't worry. I am now completely loyal to Mr. Steve Rothschild, and will not do anything to threaten Tawana." Charlie nodded and asked him, "You should know that Tawana has arrived in China now, right?" I know, Mr. Wade. After all, the news is all about her now. Matt said respectfully. Charlie smiled and said, "It just so happens that I plan to call her over later. And you two can meet to resolve your past grievances." As he said, he looked at Steve. "By the way, Steve, I want to introduce you to her. If she needs any help in the future, please help her." Steve immediately smiled and said, "Mr. Wade, this is so easy to say. With your words, her business will be my business from now on. No matter how big a mess she makes, I will protect her." Charlie smiled and nodded, picked up his phone, and called Tawana on WeChat. As soon as the call was connected, Tawana asked in surprise, "Mr. Wade, you are looking for me?" Charlie asked her, "Are you busy?" Tawana said, "I am looking at the venue now, confirming some details. And then I will start the formalities in the afternoon." Charlie asked, "Do you have any plans for lunch?" Tawana said, "There is no plan yet. I should eat with the staff." Charlie said, "Come to Classic Mansion. I will be the host, and I will introduce a friend to you."